A little bit of extra money, and I'll clear that with Brandon. So we're gonna get started. All right.
Yeah.
Welcome to MIT training. And on here on my screen, can you guys read that? Is that clear for you guys?
We're turning it sideways to
Yeah.
try to help.
Well, no big deal. Basically, this is something that I always did. I always did with my companies in the past, was train the managers to run car rides. Lorenzo, I don't know how much you know about me, but I'll give you a brief history. Yeah, so I graduated from University of Delaware in 2009 with a psych degree. Right out of college, I got a job with a small company at the time, but Power Home Remodeling Group. They were Power Windows and Siding out of Chester, Pennsylvania at the time. I got a job knocking on doors, canvassing, and I got really good at it really quick. And I built a team, and I opened up the Boston market. I then grew that branch to be the #1 branch, and then they sent me to Atlanta to open up the Atlanta market. And then I came back to Delaware, my hometown, and started a company with a couple guys called Homestar. And I hired a guy by the name of Brandon DiPartolo, who just walked in the door.
Hi, Brandon.
We got Zach and Lorenzo here.
What's up?
These were the only two that were on time. I just told them their personal daily lead bonus for the day is going to be dropped. One. Cool. All right. So I put Brandon through this exact training. So I trained him to be a manager in the field about a decade ago when he started with Homestar. So that's a little bit about me and my past. Let's get right into it. So today, what we're going to be going over quickly is define what it means to be a manager, the responsibilities and expectations. I'm glad you're here for some of that, Brandon. The garden theory, which I think you saw a little bit of already, Lorenzo. And then fair rides and setting expectations and morale. So do you guys got a pencil and paper there?
Yep.
All right, cool. Tyler, why don't you grab one too there?
Just need a paper.
Right in front of you. Yeah. So define what it means to be a manager. What I want you guys to do is write on that piece of paper, just like I am.
I forget you're lefty. Lefties unite.
Manager, right? Now, I'm going to go over mine with you guys today. Then I want you guys to send me yours. And then I'm going to combine with Brandon all the best ones to get a really good acronym together. And I want to see what your guys' thoughts are too on what defines a manager. So here are mine. We'll go one by one. So the first one that I put was mentality, right?
Mm-hmm.
What does mentality mean to you, Tyler?
Every day should be going into it with the same mindset, without like cloudy judgment, and have clear goals every single day.
Lorenzo, what does mentality mean to you?
Yeah, I would kind of reiterate that same thing, and also just being, strong-minded, being able to push, staying positive.
Right, you guys nailed it. So I like the word every day. I like what you said, Lorenzo, strong-minded. And every day and being strong-minded means day in, day out, no matter what's going on at home. You're the same guy every single day in the office. Whatever, everybody's got their own problems at home. Trust me, I do. Brandon does. Zach does. Everybody. But guess what? When we're here and you're a manager, you're putting that aside, right? Money is always a good thing to keep on your mind when you're here. And what makes you more money is bringing a good attitude and keeping your mentality consistent. Next, what I had for A.
Awareness. That's cool.
Yes. So always being aware when you're in the office if somebody in your van ride or in your team for that month, if you can see right in the office they come in dragging and they're negative, you got to be like thinking in the back of your head, all right, when we get in the car, we got to change the mood a little bit, or have a talk with them before we get in the van, or aware in the field, right? On your toes in the field. So if somebody needs a little help, being aware of that, going and helping them out, working with that person, right? Aware in all situations as a manager, and kind of thinking ahead to prevent a storm, right? And what I have for N, never say die. Me and Brandon used to have the best time in the field, and we were always the top producers together or separately when we were running car rides, because at a time I was running a team, he was running a team, and we were the two most productive teams, right? Kind of competing. But we created such a competitive environment that, even on a day where the car ride has 0, it could be 6:30, the whole team is still on board, like, let's push it. There's been days in the last hour I've gotten 5 leads. I'm sure you guys have experienced similar things. So never give up, and the never give up in you is gonna reflect upon your team. So if you're like, the today sucks, or this or that, it's 5 o'clock, we have no leads, or you could be like, dude, let's go. We got all the no's out of the way. Let's just go get our money and go home. And what do you think will produce more leads out of your van ride? Which attitude? Probably the one where you're like, let's get our money and go home, rather than let's drag our feet, So never say die, never give up on the day, because something can be started, in the last couple minutes. These two just kind of lined up. That's a saying, never say die attitude, but this is just the word attitude by itself.
I thought that word would be in there somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, attitude goes with that, with this, not so much with awareness, but like with everything you do, right? I sent the other day in the marketers meeting here, I talked about a really good moral story I have about attitude. Zach, I'm gonna film it for you now that I have this set up here, and you can show it to your guys as well. But attitude is everything. I don't know how much you guys know or practice in manifesting things, right? But a
We were
short
talking about that.
Well, yeah. So a short on manifestation, right, is energies, right, that we can't see. They're all started with a thought, right? So if you put out positive thoughts and positive energy, no matter what the situation is, that's what you're going to attract, right? And it's going to just naturally, through, like, scientifically, through invisible forces, transfer to your team. And that's real. And just because we can't see it doesn't mean it's not real. So positive attitude, unbreakable positive attitude. I don't care what it is, just always positive. That's how I am in life. It drives my girlfriend crazy because she says I don't have feelings, but no, it's just, you stay positive, you're going to get through whatever you're getting through easier. So attitude. How can you expect your team to want to get their drink, use the bathroom, get out early, start pitching fast if you don't, right? How can you expect them to do anything that you don't? Like, your team is, they're like your kids in the sense that you know more than them, so they're going to look up to you daily on how is acceptable to act. So when they're looking, when they're not looking, go get it, right? Every day. One way of saying, just be consistent in your attitude, in your production, in the way you run your car rides, which we're going to get into here. So, like, the schedule of your car rides, every single day, consistency is key, because you'll see a week with that team, it'll just run, and they'll know when you're taking a break. They'll know what you're doing every day, and because it's consistent, and they're not asking you a million questions, and it's not something new every day. It's just boom, boom, boom. This is my van ride. We produce every day. We go home and we make money, and we're all happy. So consistency every day, attitude consistent every day. Like I said, keep whatever's at home. Come in here, and I promise you, if you work hard here and have a positive attitude here, it's going to put more money in your pocket, and we'll probably solve those problems at home. So just stay positive every single day, and consistent, and role model. So it's a pretty broad term, right? But I like to put this in here because you want to be a role model across all aspects, right? Yeah, a manager and somebody that they can look to for advice in the field, but also you should be somebody that they respect and strive to be. If I've had it in the past, before I was running teams or building teams, when I started with Power, where there was a guy running my van ride, and he was the last person I would ever want to be like. Just didn't like it. And like, how do you respect somebody like that when, and if you're that person, which I know I don't get that from either of you, Lorenzo, just meeting you, Tyler, I know you, but just be a role model in and off, so like professional, dress professional. I always say dress the part. So when I started at Power after college, I was a little bit cocky, I guess, because I had a psych degree and I was like knocking on doors, right? But it kind of gave me an edge because as soon as I got promoted to van driver, I was in a suit every day in the office. Even if it was for just the hour of the manager's meeting, I was in a suit. Everybody else was in their hoodies. Guess what? I looked the part. I was the part. A year later, I was opening up the Boston branch. And, it's like, it was kind of like fake it till you make it kind of thing, and I looked the part. I was the part. I had the production, and I was the guy, and it moved me forward. So I'm not saying wear a suit every day. That was just something I chose to do. And it separates you in the room. You know what I mean? It's like, all right, that guy's a boss. So role model. Now I'm going to give you guys like five minutes to work on your own real quick. And then we'll get into the next part of this. All right. You want it? You want to do it, Brandon? Sure.
Hey, Brandon. This guy.
Where's the camera at?
Right
Can
there.
they see me?
Yeah. You see this?
What's up, dude?
Catalina wine mixer, dude.
You guys like mine?
Yeah, it was good. I liked it a lot.
Cool.
Some good ones.
Yeah, awareness was like, that was
Yeah.
cool. It was good to see.
So do you want us to like have a different one for every letter?
It could be similar.
Okay.
Yeah. I always put my chair for this one.
That's what I was thinking too.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like that.
Right? Like it just
Yeah.
it resonates well.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fun.
We gotta get out the thesaurus here.
For which one?
Trying to think. Just G.
I mean, I don't, mine, when it comes to mine, I think of G, I always think of like, gratitude, grateful.
So I was thinking grateful.
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
being grateful can make you want to really work hard.
That is a good one.
Mhm.
Real good one.
I get the same
Never
thing.
been.
Yeah.
Yeah, same thing. These are good ones, man.
2 more minutes. You guys all almost done over there?
Yeah, we're on the R here.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, you can, and we're gonna discuss these tomorrow morning.
Some part of me is ready to learn.
Yeah.
You know
I was
what I
thinking
mean?
like something ready to learn. So, yeah.
I see some good ones.
Yes.
Rambunctious. Yeah, rambunctious a little bit.
You know, rambunctious, kind of funny that you said that, because for G, I had gritty. I'm a hockey player. Like a gritty hockey player is a tough hockey player.
Yeah,
And I-
like a little, like an edge, that chip on your shoulder, like you were saying.
Exactly. Like rambunctious is not bad, I don't think. You know, as long as you can contain it, you know,
Right.
rambunctiousness.
Old rambunctious.
But yeah, being tough is definitely something, and we'll talk about that, you know, in all weathers. I used to look at it when I went out canvassing, and my team would look at it like, we used to love the foul weather. They would look at it like Braveheart, like we're warriors, you know?
Mhm.
And then soaking wet. I actually have a really funny story to tell today about Demp.
Dempsey?
Brian Dempsey.
Last
Yeah,
year.
when he was canvassing. I'll start right now with this story. So we were canvassing one day, right? I was a manager, and I was training a rep, Brian Dempsey, on how to run a car ride, right? And it was pouring down rain, and Demp dropped all of us off in the rain, pouring down rain, hard day. I was out there marketing. We were all soaking wet, and he picked us up at the end of the day, and he was dry. And we had like a 6-piece average for the van, so we made him a really big bonus, and he was dry, and he was like, fuck yeah. He was like, yeah, it's 6-piece average on the day. And I was like, dude, you're completely dry. You should give us that bonus, right? And we were at a 4-way stop in a neighborhood, and he was like, you know what? F you, Greg. He got out of the van, car stopped, there's a puddle, and started rolling around in the puddle to get soaking wet. And he got back in the van. We were like, yeah. It was awesome. And you know, I'm not saying do that, but I'm saying like he made us feel like, you know, we would do that again for him, just because, you know, yeah, he was dry and he was driving us around most of the day, but like he was like, you know what, I'll get wet with you any day. And there were cars that were honking at him, and he was just like, I'm doing something. Can you picture that? And it was like one of the most best memories I ever had. Okay, so let's get in to the next thing here. So
one time and had 25 best.
Lorenzo, can you take a picture of that and text it to me?
Yeah.
Cool, thank you. And we're gonna go over those tomorrow morning, or not tomorrow morning, Friday morning.
All right. Zach just took a picture of it.
Awesome, thank you. All right, next we're gonna go over responsibilities of a manager. So just start firing them off. What do you guys think are some responsibilities of a manager?
Game plan.
All right, Lorenzo, you're up.
Responsibilities of a manager, game plan, being on time.
Brandon, you got on?
The biggest thing for, at least in my eyes, is just making sure everything's prepared. The game plan, your guys, like, you're freaking ready to go, man. Preparation.
All right, and now I'm gonna come in with one, and definitely the biggest one. And this is, I'm actually recording this, so we can send this to the other guys. But how about being a driver of the team, right?
Yeah.
That's got to be like the most biggest and most serious responsibility that you have as a manager. So, I don't know, Brandon, can you talk on that for a second?
Yeah, for sure. Definitely. It's so important, man. I know you've only been here for a little bit of time, Lorenzo. How long have you been here for?
This is
2 months?
like just after 2 months. Like I've had 2 full months of pitching, I think, or like 7 weeks of pitching.
Okay. So here we have about 7 or 8, maybe even 9 rides that we're going to have moving forward. So it's definitely a lot more common here with a ton of vans on the road constantly. In fact, at the time, maybe about 6 months ago, we actually had 4 car accidents in a week, which was pretty crazy. But there's a couple things that kind of go into it, right? It's like, for one, you have people's lives at stake. You're the one controlling the van, you know? So sometimes, and majority of the time, it's not even on purpose, right? But it's just thinking things through. Like a lot of times it'll be people that are looking at their game, like at their directions on their phones that are just putting it in a holder, or, you know, having the guy in the passenger seat to be able to, you know, let him know when his turn's coming up and things of that nature. Just taking all those precautions to make sure everybody's safe. But just know every day that, yeah, he is right. It is the most important thing, because God forbid if something were to happen and someone were to die or something like that, you know, you're going to be the one that's held responsible, and that could be serious. I mean, you're going to be in court for, you know, the next year, you know? So just understand how bad it could really get, right, if you're not paying attention. The other side of it is, even if nothing happens, right, and you're driving the van recklessly, I can't tell you how many people have quit,
Right,
because they didn't feel safe in the van and they didn't tell anybody. They would just quit. Some people spoke up about it, but a lot of times people won't say anything. They will just leave, especially if they don't know anybody and they're new
Right.
still. But the way I look at driving a van is like this, right? It's like, I would never drive a van the way that I drive my own vehicle. The way I drive my own vehicle is going to be probably 10 or 15 miles per hour faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, the reason why I don't drive the van the same way is when people aren't in control of the van, they're going to be more worried about what's going to happen because they're not in control, right? So if the speed limit's 50 and you're driving 60, they might drive 62 on their own car on that same road. But because you're driving, it adds a layer of stress in there, right? They don't really know you that well, or they're not in control of the van. So my whole thing was, when I drove, was I always drove 10 or 15 miles per hour less than what I would have if I drove my own. I would just drive the speed limit, right? And just to be conscious of those things, right? Because to be a successful van manager, your goal is to get them in the field, you know, with as less stress endured as possible, right? Like, you're out there to put them in the best position physically and mentally, right? If you drove erratic all the way there and they were stressed out the entire time, you put them in a T, probably not going to be successful, right? You want them calm, you know, safe drive, you got there okay, and they're able to relax and maybe, you know, pitch in the van here and there to, you know, kind of get the first couple pitches out of the way. But all those things are really important, right? And at the end of the day, you have people's lives in your hands, and you want to make sure that you get them from point A to point B safely, you know?
you are also representing our company out there on the road. So if you're, you know, whipping around neighborhoods, cutting people off, how do you think those neighbors are going to feel if that comes back to it being elevated remodeling, you know? But yeah, thank you, Brandon. I think you know it.
And just to, you know, with everything that has happened with car accidents and things of that nature, we've already had to do it before in the past. But we do have to, you know, put cameras in all the vans to monitor those things for insurance purposes, because of how many accidents we've been in, unfortunately. So obviously, you know, it's not to micromanage, but it is to manage how people drive, because at the end of the day, if something were to happen in the van, it is my responsibility as well. So I need to make sure that people that are driving the vans are driving them accordingly. And, you know, we've had people before that didn't drive safely and they got demoted because we simply just couldn't trust them to drive. And I don't think one of you guys will even remotely come close to that problem. But it is something to think about and just to be aware of.
Cool. Thank you, Brandon. Now I'm gonna hop in with what I think is your second biggest responsibility, and that's making sure that your guys get enough pitch time. Whether they like it or not, that's what we're here for. Your second biggest responsibility is you can't control what they do or how they do it, but you can control how much time they have to pitch, right? And believe it or not, so here's an example. I've been a part of car rides or managed car rides where half the team is caught some bad habits, right? And they're a little bit lazy. Maybe even the drivers and the managers a little bit lazy. And they have two new reps, young guys, motivated, ready to come in here, killing it, make money. And then you leave the office and you go to your first stop for gas, right? And then the manager and the two guys that have been there forever, like sitting on the hood of the car, eating. The two new guys who want to go make money are sitting there like quiet, like, what do we do here? You know what I mean? And then they're with that van ride for a month. They feel like you directly affected their production or potential production because you did, if you did that. So keep in mind, if you are taking time or aren't on top of people that are taking time and wasting time, you're directly taking away from somebody's potential production on the day. Every second counts. Me and Brandon talked about this yesterday as far as numbers go. Here's an example on that. I'm not telling you to do this in the field. I cut through yards every single time. You know why? Because it makes sense. Imagine how many yards I cut through during a day, 120 yards, where if 120 times I would have had to walk all the way down the driveway, all the way up the sidewalk, all the way up the other driveway. If you do the math, it's an hour of pitch time a day. That's 2-3 leads. Cut, stuff like that. That's a personal time management in the field that's going to up your production, and a little trick that you can tell your guys to do. But as far as being the role model, the leader, and the example, you never want your reps to feel like, man, I wish I was out there like pitching right now, or they're taking away from my production. They should always feel like they got the adequate opportunity every day. So pitch time, I would say, is your second biggest responsibility. Some more quick ones. So communicator. So not somebody who shies away from issues or things that you're aware of. So here's a quick story. Do you guys know the difference between buffaloes and cows?
Let's hear it.
All right. So the difference between buffaloes and cows, if a storm is coming and the cows sense it, right, they just stay still. Or they actually, if they sense a storm and they're in the wide open plain and not contained, they actually try to run away from it, right? Buffalo are different. When they sense a storm coming, they run right towards it. So here are the cows, they're running away from it. They just stay with the storm the whole time, right? But the buffalo see the storm coming, they run right through it. They're in and out. So if you are not a communicator, if you're not addressing issues that you see, then you're going to run with that storm a whole lot longer. And it's going to snowball into a tornado and then God knows what. So nip issues in the bud, be a communicator, be somebody that your guys feel they can talk to. And if somebody's having a bad day or whatever it is, just be like, yo, what's up, man? Like, anything going on? You ready to go? Like, have a little talk with them. Be a friend that can boost their morale. And it's good to notice be aware of these things and be able to communicate them. You're also still responsible for being a personal producer and actually a top dog. And I'm going to teach you guys on day 2. You're already both very good producers, I know, but on day 2 to how to up your production and how to use the van as a privilege and a way that managers are able to work T's a different way in order to be a top producer and produce more. So when I became a manager, I had the same struggle that most people do. Your personal production goes down a little bit. Typically when you're on a van ride, you're not pitching as much. But I thought to myself when I was doing this, man, I have a car, like I could really be using that to my advantage. Or I could really be using, and there's a lot of different ways to use a car to your advantage. I'm going to do like a whole hour on how I do hop outs. Like a part of that hour would be things that I call quick hits, little one street neighborhoods. And I'm going to tell you, I'll give you a little brief on it now. I'm going to show you to the detail how I have my clipboard ready, how I hop out of my car and leave it running, how I hop back in the car, because it's all about that time management, right? I used to always focus on amount of talk tos a day and not leads. Amount of talk tos. If I got 40 qualified talk tos, I was getting 8 leads every day. And if I'm on 30 talk tos at 5:30 and I have no leads, I know if I get 10 more talk tos, they're probably going to be those leads, because it's all just a numbers game. But you got to be a personal producer. Expectation setter. This one's like super important, right? And it's gonna kind of roll into the next thing that I'm going to teach you guys. Expectation setter. This, in other words, just give them no option to bitch, right? Because if you give them no option to bitch, then they can't bitch. They have nothing to bitch about, which is what's going to roll right into what I'm going to talk about next, which is the garden theory. You haven't seen this, have you? Nope. Okay. Lorenzo, I think Zach might have showed you the video, but won't hurt.
Yeah, we watched it yesterday.
Cool. So I'm going to go over the garden theory, because this goes along with setting expectations, right? And this is actually something that we're rolling out company-wide to all the managers next week. He's going to be a part of the new MAT system. So it's called the garden theory. And what it is simply a 2-lap system. All right. So that being said, what that means is each rep or 2 reps will be working the same neighborhood for 2 laps for that day. So what is crucial in this is making sure that your reps are keeping really good rest sheet so they can go back into that territory. If you have a rep who after break, you're about to put him back in the neighborhood and he's like, dude, I didn't keep rest. What do you want me to do? I'm not, we have neighborhoods to work tomorrow, but it's not my problem. You're going to have to figure it out. And I guarantee you the next day they're keeping rest, right? So, rest sheets. And we're going to do, I'm going to have each of you like on Monday. I'm going to train you on how to teach your guys to do res sheets, new guys. You kind of teach them to keep res while they're shadowing you in the field, you know. But that's important because if they are not confident in how to do this, when they go out by themselves, then they're screwed with the system. So, and that's your guys' responsibility with new guys, is to teach them how to keep res. They'll go over it in training, but in the field, it's a little bit different, right? And everybody has their own ways of doing it. My res sheet is all startup by my second lap, like re-knock like this. I already talked to this guy, I got his name. So we'll get into the 2-lap system and why we do it this way. So you leave the office, right? Then you should be driving to the area that you're working. So say you're an hour away, you're not going to the Wawa right next to the office. What's the point of that, right? Everybody can use the bathroom at the office after the meeting. So drive to your area, 45 minutes away, hour away, whatever it is. Then you go to a Wawa and you use the bathroom and before you hit the field. Reason for doing that is, guess what? Nobody's calling you in an hour.
Yeah.
Dude, I gotta use the bathroom. And then guess what? It's an every single day thing. They use the bathroom here. They use the bathroom close to their tee. Then they're in the field 10 minutes after they use the bathroom. If they're calling you to use the bathroom after that, dude, we were just at Wawa. You're a big boy. Dude, this actually happened to me. So I was working up in Rhode Island Home Improvement. Before this, I was the marketing manager. And they had this girl that was working there that prior to me getting hired as a canvasser, and she inhibited everybody's day. No driver wanted to take her. She was calling to use the bathroom. She was doing this, and like literally but the worst part about it is that she could pull 5 leads in like a half hour.
So
So she would go get her 5 leads, and they'd be like, I gotta use the bathroom. I might need to go home. I need to move. I need to do this. And I told my manager, I was like, dude, her production is hindering everybody else's production, right? So I want you to lay it out to her, say, this is what we're doing. This is what we do every day. We drive to our area. We use the bathroom. We go to the field for first lap. We take break. We go to the field for second lap. And don't break that. That day goes by. He says, oh, she's already texted me to use the bathroom about an hour into the field, right? I said, do what I said. He texted me back. She said she pissed her pants. She peed her pants. And I was just like, dude, I was like, I'm firing this girl. I called her. I was like, look, get a ride home. I don't care what you got to do. And then I called her after the shift, and I was like, look, like, you were on the fence. I didn't know what you expected me to do for peeing your pants. I don't feel bad. I told her that. I was like, but we're just gonna have to let you go. And she was like, peed myself, and I was like, yeah, amongst other things. But yeah, so I was like, crazy. It's crazy, but like, we didn't want her there anyway. She weeded herself out. That's kind of the thing. So if people are really giving you a hard time about working the system or using the bathroom and stuff, if you give them every option to where they can't bitch about it, then you're good. And that's what this is. So your first lap, you leave the office, 10:30, you get to the field like 11:30 to noon. And this first lap, we call planting the seeds and pulling the weeds. Goes along with the kind of garden theory here, right? So Tyler, what type of homeowners typically do you see in the middle of the day, or what type of people do you run into at the door?
Working from home. Make it quick. That's number one.
Definitely.
Unemployed.
Yeah. I got no money.
Definitely. Keep calling them out. Any others you guys can think of?
Children.
Babysitters.
Yep. Yep.
All right. So there's something in common with these, right? Typically, for the most part, 3 out of 4 of these, unqualified, and probably during the day while they're working from home, probably just not going to sign up, right? But there's ways you can handle that too. So the whole point of this first lap is to minimize the unqualified talk tos on your second lap.
Yep.
Get them out of the way, right? You have a couple goals here. 15 talk tos. And look at that, 0 to 2 leads. That's accurate. I said 0.
Yep.
It's likely that sometimes you could have 0 after this first lap. You're talking to a lot of unqualified homeowners. The reason why we teach it this way also is because the reps that have 0 after that first lap, the new reps got to know that it's normal, or else they might be like, get stressed. Damn, I have none. They should be like, okay, I got a lot of my nose out of the way on that first lap. I personally used to look at, as a manager, my first lap bonus. Those were just bonus leads. And my second lap, in my mind, I was always starting with 0. That was just a personal thing I did that kind of helped my production. Cool. So then you break. So again, you're leaving the office. You're driving to the area you're working, taking your quick bathroom break, getting them a drink. That should be a 5 to 10 minute break tops when you get out there. Get the guys right in the field to do their first lap. That's usually for about 2 to 2:30 to 3. Then you take your break and you get everybody back out into the same territory with their red sheets. That should be all starred up for houses that they knocked where the roof was awful or the windows were awful. They weren't home. A kid who said, yeah, my parents get home at 5. A wife who didn't want to get on the phone without her husband, but said he's home by 5. I used to crush. Instead of oftentimes I wouldn't try to force a wife to sign up on the phone if I just got the vibe that she was just going to do it. You know, if I really needed to talk to the husband, because I know the real numbers. In doing that, it's almost all the time the husband killed.
Yeah.
Almost every single time the husband gets home and says not interested. So I found in the field, it's often sometimes better. You always try to get him on the phone and set it, you know, with the wife. But if she's giving you some flack, be like, look, I'm going to be around all day. What time did you say your husband gets home? Cool. Give him a heads up that I'm going to be stopping by. I'll stop by around 5:30. We'll make sure he's on board too, and we'll get you guys set up. That's going to demo, or at least give you the shot to not let it get killed. Right?
It's strengthens.
And if that guy sees you and that you respected the fact that he kind of made the decision in the household and you didn't force his wife to sign up for something, and you spin it like, hey, your wife told me she wasn't sure, you know, of a good time or if this was something that you wanted to do, and you're kind of the guy to talk to about it. She said you guys were talking about doing the roof, just trying to find a good time for an estimate for both of you. That subconsciously puts him at ease, like he knows I'm the man of the house, you know, and he's not going to kind of battle you. So that's the kind of stuff I set up for myself on that first lap. The second lap, 3:30 or whatever it may be till say you're only a half hour from the office. This is called reaping the harvest, or what I always refer to it as in the field, the money lap.
Oh, yeah.
All right, start calling out what type of homeowners or people you're going to run into at the door here.
Your laborers coming home from work.
These are the ones you want right here. Dual income,
Yep.
2-legged.
9 to 5 workers.
9-to-5ers that are getting home.
Yep.
These you could kind of split up. So like dual income, 9-to-5ers, and then
Get a lot of parents coming home with the kids.
parents coming home with
A
kids.
lot of that.
Hey, what else do you see? A lot of people are getting home, right?
Get people outside too.
That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
when, especially in the summer and when it's warmer out, people are getting home at 5 and then they're outside doing yard work. Those, I swear to God, I'm probably 80% on people outside. Do you guys agree?
You know, there's one night, it was a trash night. I
Yeah.
signed up like 7 people taking their trash out.
Dude, I mean, because you know what it is? It's a simple psychological thing. You're not entering their private space, you know? You're just right out there outside talking to them. And when you realize that difference at the door, if you can overcome that private space and make it like somebody who was already outside, you up your lead setting personally, and so forth. But yeah, people outside, people who work, people who have money to buy stuff, people who are looking to upgrade their home and make it better. And what do these all have in common? Qualified. And you're already skipping all these bums that don't work. All these, maybe some of these work from homes were busy. And you know what I would do for this? If they say, hey, I'm working from home, I'm here all night. I'll try back this evening before I leave.
Mm-hmm.
Mark it down. Hey, I stopped by earlier. I knew you were working from home. Right into it. Boom. So that you're talking to those people, those re-knocks. you're talking to. Those houses with seal failure. How about these houses, right? Where the roof is brand new, the landscaping's beautiful, there's no cars in the driveway, but the windows have seal failure.
Mm.
That I'm putting windows, seal failure, everything else nice is what I'm putting on my red sheet. Star. That because they already upgraded their roof. They keep their shit nice, but their windows are bad. That guy knows that's the only thing bad on his house, right? So my red sheet, after break on my second lap, when I was going into my second lap, I almost couldn't wait to get out of the car because I'd be like, oh, that car's on now, that, and you build a familiarity with the neighborhood and you kind of build off of that to just for your personal success. Here. So yeah, your goal is 15 talk tos here. They're likely going to be unqualified, right? Your goal here is 20 to 25 talk tos, but they're likely going to be qualified. Now, three to five leads. Because these talk tos, not only are you getting more talk tos, they're going to be typically qualified. And then you see here, even if you get the low end of everything, 0 here and 3 here, that's what you're expected to get every day. But you get the high end. Sometimes I would get like 5 here and like 2 here because I might be helping some people out, or what I like to do, and actually what we're going to get into a lot, is the importance of early leads. I used to like to get my 4. As a manager, I would always get 4. I would get my 4 quick, boom, by 2 o'clock. So I could come down here and help whoever's struggling, right? And that's kind of the 2-lap system there. And that's going to help your guys make more money. You guys make more money. It's going to make your life way easier. Have a structured, scheduled day for your car ride. And then there's no questions, and you give no option for them to bitch. Right? You eliminate that option. All right, guys. So we're gonna get into a little bit of the van rides today. We'll go for about 10 more minutes, and then I want to give you guys some time to chill before you get into your marketers meeting. All right. So van rides. Lorenzo, tell me the schedule of your van ride. So like basically you leave the office and then what?
Leave the office, obviously going to wherever I'm going, stop at a Wawa, make sure, they get what they want, use the bathroom, and make sure, like a fucking parent, like use the bathroom and before, like, go now.
And I would always say, dude, because it's not picking you up until it's break time.
See you at lunch.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
And then I start driving to my tees, and I'll usually just go from the closest to the Wawa to the furthest, and then drop everybody off. I usually have something like small that I could kind of maintain but be close enough to the guys if anything does happen.
Right. And then so this is what's important here, right? So leave office, then bathroom break near T. There's something that happens right here. What do you think that is? On the way to your, like, where you're working.
Yeah,
What do you think?
giving your team the lay of the land. So we're about to hit some
Yeah.
3s, their 2006s. This is
Build
what we
off
should
that
look
though, a
for.
little bit more. See if you guys can get it.
Fill me in.
You're hyping them up, like,
Yeah, you're hyping them up also, and we're going to get into that too. But more so, set expectations throughout everything. So on the way, before you go to your bathroom break, hey guys, just letting you know, after break, John, your first drop. It's only 5 minutes from where we're taking breaks, so make sure you have your stuff ready. After John, it's going to be Eric and Nate. You guys are working a tee together today. You're going to be right after them too, and then it's going to be you, Mike. And so have all your stuff ready. John, again, your first drop. Let's all use the bathroom. No longer than 10 minutes. Make sure you get what you need now because the next break won't be till lunch. All right. And then you go, and then you get back in your car after that bathroom break, and guess what? They already know what's going on. Yep. You don't realize sometimes the amount of time that can take from, 10-minute bathroom break, then back in the car, then you're telling everybody where you're going and what's going on. Then when you're dropping people off on the initial drop off, I do one lap to point out bad stuff to them. Make sure they know what windows are original. And throughout that lap, then I don't care what that looks like, you're picking out positives. Man, there's so many cars home. Man, did you see that window? Oh gosh, this is a good territory. Look at that roof right there. Dude, you're gonna kill it every time. And that's just for the first drop in their territory, right? But most importantly is that in builder grade neighborhoods, they're able to decipher what is the original windows, right? So you want to make sure that they're going in there prepared. But just a quick lap. Don't let them extend that for you. You're saying, I'm just doing one quick lap, and then you're dropping them. So the best thing to do is if they're first drop, they're going to be first pickup for your lunch break, right? So John, your first drop after our initial bathroom break, which means you're going to be first pickup for when we take lunch. When you have like an idea of when that's going to be, give him like a 30-minute, I would say 15-minute time frame. Hey, John, 15 minutes. I'm going to be there to pick you up. Where will you be in 15 minutes? And then he'll tell you where he is. Cool. Try to get one more, or try to get one before I get there. On your way to John, you're texting Nate and Eric. Hey guys, almost at John. 15-minute warning. Each of you try to get one before I get there. Where are you going to be? So everything just is not, you pick up John and then you're like, where are they in this? You know what I mean? Like, and not saying text and drive. I'm saying use your time wisely. And you should never have downtime where the guys are in your car, or some of the guys are in your car and you're still trying to figure out where the next guys are. And you'll see as you continue and stick to like the 2-lap system and this schedule, they will just expect it every day. And then you'll forget that there were even problems like, I got to use the bathroom. I don't like my tea, or this or that, because I don't like my tea. The 2 laps after break, the 2-lap system kills that. Be like, dude, what do you mean you don't like your tea? You have exactly as many leads as you're supposed to after your first lap. 0. Hey, you got all those no's. Trust the system, bro. I'm telling you, go out there with a positive attitude and see what happens. And you do that, and if they overcome that, which a lot of times they will, dude, that feels so much better to them, builds their confidence as a marketer overall so much more, right? So set expectations. You go to break, and then you guys get the deal from there. First drop is first pickup, and then you should also drop in the same way for the second lap. So again, there'll be first pickup at the end of the night. So that's how a van ride should go. I'm curious to know, what are you guys do in your van rides now? Do you guys play music? I don't care. You do?
Yep.
Okay. And who picks the music?
I'll kind of leave it up to the ride. What are we guys into? And just kind of like.
What about you? Lorenzo, what do you do during your van rides?
Yeah, same. I mean, usually I give someone else the music. You know, I let them want to play whatever they want to play, whatever they listen to. I enjoy anything anyway, but it's pretty much, you know, I let them. I want them to ride. I don't really care.
Right. And I agree with that. I used to agree with that. But the reality of things is people don't agree on music preference. Come on in.
Yeah.
Oh, what's up?
You got the map book in here?
Yeah. The Jersey one?
the Maryland one.
Yeah.
Hi, Jeremy.
Who's talking?
Zach.
I see him.
Yeah.
I need the one with Baltimore.
Yeah, that's the
I'm the Skyler. You're on the Skyler.
so any.
Yeah, I was probably over here. Where you would be? I was like, he's probably back here.
Hey, I'm gonna text you guys about Thursday. I could use you
So
guys.
we gotta get you a green shirt after.
Cool. Have a good one, guys. Yeah, so what was I getting at?
Can you send it? Yeah, I didn't have one for you then.
Oh, music.
Music.
So not everybody has the same music preference, and somebody who's quiet in the car ride might not enjoy it. So Zach, you weren't here for the story, but remember that girl that I was telling you about up in Rhode Island, that Peter Pants?
Yeah.
Yeah. So she also would play her music on a Bluetooth. He said that my manager told me on the ride, and not like ask anybody, and she would like sing to it like loud, and like, you know, my whole point is you just don't know who likes what. What I would do in my van rides, I'm going to leave that to your guys' discretion based on who's in your rides. But I would say, yo, if you want music, downtime, whatever, just bring your headphones. Otherwise, I'm somebody who's big on new topics and podcasts and talks like the UFO, what the UFOs are doing right now, and just having conversations, not necessarily work related, but worldly related, because that's going to help you connect with people in the field and gives you just worldly things to talk about, good, solid conversation. And those solid conversations are often funny. And you as a manager can go in there with a topic on mind to talk about something that just happened, whatever it is. But I would suggest that, saying, hey guys, if you want, we'll do music today, like we usually do, but come prepared tomorrow with headphones. And then if they do come with headphones, just, whenever you need to make an announcement, just grab them. But that gives people the option to kind of, do their own thing in that amount of time, but helps you also have constructive conversations. That's just an opinion on music. I never really practiced pitch in the van, because I would always practice with my guys in the morning. The morning meetings with Power were the same way they are here. They started at 10. My van ride, my guys got there at 9:30. And guess what we were doing from 9:30 till 10? We were in the big training room practicing pitch. And it's fun when we used to play a game where you practice pitch and you get the most outrageous homeowners that say the craziest thing, and you have to like kind of bring it back. And we'd be in there practicing pitch, having a good time, when all the other marketers are just dragging in. And then who do you think is going to do better on the day? Who, that van ride or the other ones? And it kind of shows you who's here to really make money. That's what always motivated me, and it's ultimately what we're all here for, right? So yeah, I never necessarily practiced pitch in the van rides. I had good conversations about topics, hot topics in the news, whatever interests you guys, and then you structure your van ride in that way, and you guys will see just 1 week with a new team. That second week, it's just running great for the rest of the month. Cool. So that's what I got for you guys today. I'm going to give you guys some downtime for the meeting. Friday will be the next one, 8:30 a.m. And then we'll do it again Monday. And then we're going to have a company-wide managers meeting with all managers Tuesday.
Cool.
And we'll have you linked up in the big conference room. Okay. And again, you guys, I expect you to hit the bonus today because it's one less for you, your daily lead bonus. Personally, text me at the end of the day what you did so I can make sure that we get that adjusted for the day. Okay? Cool. Thanks for being on time and everything, and good work.
Thank you.
See you guys.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
Yep. See you Friday.
Just so you know, Monday I will not be at work.
Okay. I might adjust it then, but you're good. All right, man. Have a good one.
See you. Thanks, man. Put this over close.
You can leave it open.